Mangwana ni mwalilepo vukenjani. Klekwas dubelang manave Africa. Welcome to Africa. Good morning. The news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. These are some of the stories we'll be looking at from the broader African continent. Africa Forward Summit opens with big promises and big questions in Nairobi. France-Kenya partnership sparks neo-colonialism debate. Tanzania blocks European Union rights delegation. Mauritius launches $1 million golden visa program. African Film Awards turn into fashion spectacle in Nigeria. There's a lot to chew on with regards to that particular last story. We'll be looking forward to that. However, today is a day of commemoration in the spirit of celebration. It is the birthday of Dr. Sam Shafishuna Nujoma. Sam Nujoma's birthday remains more than a date on Namibia's calendar. It stands as a reminder of resilience, sacrifice, and the uncompromising spirit of liberation. As Namibia marks 12 May, the nation celebrates the life of a man who dedicated himself to the struggle for freedom, unity, and dignity for Namibians. Though he is no longer physically present, his voice, conviction, and vision continue to echo across the country he helped liberate and build. Namibia honors its founding father, revolutionary leader, and enduring symbol of African liberation. Happy heavenly birthday, sir. My name is Ashwin Berry. This is Africa Good Morning. Top stories shortly.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
The Africa Forward Summit officially opened in Nairobi, Kenya, bringing together one of the largest gatherings of African leaders ever hosted in the country. Co-hosted by Kenyan President William Ruto and French President Emmanuel Macron, the two-day summit is positioning itself as a major reset in Africa-France relations, focusing on innovation, investment, technology, energy, agriculture, and security cooperation. The summit carries the theme Africa-France Partnerships for Innovation and Growth, with organizers insisting the partnership model is shifting away from donor-recipient politics towards equal cooperation and African-led development. More than 30 African heads of state, thousands of delegates, and hundreds of business leaders are at the summit, which is unfolding across the University of Nairobi and the Kenyatta International Convention Center. Kenya is also using the event to market itself as East Africa's innovation and diplomatic capital, while France is attempting to rebuild influence on the continent following growing anti-French sentiment and military expulsions across parts of West Africa and the Sahel region. This video was posted by William Ruto on his presidential page.
Good morning, Nairobi. Jambo na karibu Nairobi. Bonjour et bienvenue à Nairobi.
But this partnership, this balanced, generous, lucid, and equal partnership is precisely how we will frame and build our common future. So thank you.
Today, sports is industry, sports is infrastructure, sports is investment, sports is culture, diplomacy, technology, tourism, and of course, jobs.
Good evening, Nairobi. Bonsoir, Nairobi.
We are ready to engage in a manner that is beneficial to France and is beneficial to us. We no longer want a relationship that is one-sided. And this is why this France-Africa Summit in Nairobi is different. We want those of us who are Anglophone to feel as part of this relationship as those who are Francophone, because we are one continent and we are one people.
Now, despite the optimistic language surrounding the Africa Forward Summit, the growing relationship between Kenya and France is facing sharp criticism from activists, opposition voices, and regional analysts concerned about sovereignty and foreign influence. The criticism intensified after Kenya and France signed a defense cooperation agreement in April 2026, covering maritime security, intelligence cooperation, peacekeeping, and military training. Critics argue the agreement gives France excessive privileges, including diplomatic-style protections for French troops operating in Kenya. Concerns have also emerged over reports suggesting France wants a more permanent military presence in Kenya as Paris seeks to strengthen strategic influence in the Western Indian Ocean after setbacks in Francophone West Africa. Supporters of the deal insist the partnership will boost Kenya's security capacity against threats such as Al-Shabaab, while unlocking economic and investment opportunities. France has invested billions into Kenya over the past decade, and more than 140 French companies now operate in the East African country. However, critics argue the relationship appears unequal, especially as French nationals enjoy easier access into Kenya, while ordinary Kenyans continue facing strict European visa systems and mobility barriers. Now we're staying in East Africa as Tanzania is facing mounting international scrutiny after blocking a European Parliament delegation that was supposed to investigate allegations of election violence and human rights abuses linked to the country's 2025 general elections. The European mission had been approved in late 2025 but repeatedly faced postponements before Tanzanian authorities effectively denied the delegation entry into the country. The delegation intended to investigate allegations surrounding violence against protesters, election irregularities, and restrictions on political freedoms during and after the October 2025 elections. European officials also planned to inspect European Union-funded projects and engage civil society organizations and legal institutions, including the African Court on Human and People's Rights in Arusha. The continued delays are now being interpreted in Europe as a refusal to cooperate. European Parliament officials say they remain open to dialogue, but have warned that Tanzania's actions could affect future diplomatic relations. The situation comes as President Samia Suluhu Hassan's government faces increasing pressure from international rights groups over allegations of shrinking democratic space, restrictions on opposition activity, and concerns over accountability ahead of future political processes. And just to give some further context with regards to the Tanzanian election, which was won by Samia Suluhu Hassan by 98%, about 800 civilians were reported killed. And this is in a report released by government of Tanzania just 2 weeks ago. The main opposition leader, Tundu Lissu, is still in prison awaiting trial for treason. So a little context there as we keep an eye on East Africa. Now we move over to Africa's second richest country, Mauritius, has officially launched a new $1 million golden visa program aimed at attracting wealthy global investors as the island nation positions itself as one of Africa's most attractive investment destinations. The initiative, announced by Prime Minister Navichandra Ramgoolam, requires applicants to invest at least $1 million within 12 months of arrival. Successful applicants will receive a multiple entry visa valid for up to 2 years, with opportunities for renewal depending on continued investment. Authorities say the program is targeting sectors such as fintech, artificial intelligence, renewable energy, biotechnology, and treasury services. Mauritius is increasingly marketing itself as a stable, peaceful, and investor-friendly African destination with strong governance and financial infrastructure. The country remains Africa's most peaceful nation according to the 2025 Global Peace Index and is also ranked among the continent's wealthiest economies. Officials hope the visa initiative will attract around 100 high-net-worth investors annually. The move places Mauritius among a growing number of African countries competing in the global residency by investment market traditionally dominated by Europe, the Gulf, and North America. One of the countries we know were mulling a similar decision is Botswana, so we'll also be keeping an eye on how that unfolds in Southern Africa. Now, in the last of our top stories, we head to the creative industry, and creative it is indeed. The 12th edition of the Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Awards transformed Lagos into a massive celebration of African cinema, celebrity culture, and extravagant fashion over the weekend. The annual award ceremony once again blurred the line between film recognition and theatrical fashion showcase, with celebrities arriving in oversized architectural gowns, sculptural outfits, and dramatic costumes designed to dominate social media conversations. One of the most talked about appearances came from reality television personality Queen Mercy Atang, who wore a dress reportedly constructed from more than 500 loaves of bread as part of a marketing campaign for her baking business. Now, Ghanaian fashion figure Nana Akua-Addo stunned audiences with a cathedral-inspired silver gown based on Cologne Cathedral in Germany, while actress Uche Montana appeared in a fiery phoenix-themed red and gold feathered outfit symbolizing rebirth. Now, beyond fashion, actor Bucci Franklin won Best Supporting Actor for his role in To Kill a Monkey, while Linda Ejiofor made history by winning both Best Lead Actress and Best Supporting Actress. My Father's Shadow also emerged among the night's biggest winners, continuing its international success after becoming the first Nigerian film selected for the Cannes Film Festival. Wow. Very interesting indeed. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. We're going to have a look at the weather before we swing back with news from Namibia.
June to 19 July. Everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches on 4 dedicated channels only on GOTV.
time for us to dive into the news from Namibia. Now, Namibian products such as beef, mutton, and potentially grapes, blueberries, and aquatic products could soon enter the Chinese market without import taxes following China's new zero tariff policy for African countries. Speaking during a media engagement in Windhoek, Counselor for Economic and Commercial Affairs at the Chinese Embassy in Namibia, Wei Jinming, said the move means products from Namibia can now enter China's market for more than 1.4 billion people at lower costs, making them more competitive and attractive to buyers. Previously, tariffs on Namibian beef and mutton entering China ranged between 12 and 25%, while aquatic products, grapes and blueberries were taxed up to 30%. Under the new arrangement, these tariffs will be reduced to zero once export agreements are finalized. This video is by Philippus Joseph.
For unleashing the potential of non-Namibia products to enter Chinese vast market of over 1.4 billion people at lower cost. The removal of tariff will directly reduce entry barriers, enhance competitiveness, and help Namibia enterprises secure more orders and achieve more stable market access. Previously, tariff on Namibia beef and mutton imported from Namibia to China reached from 12% to 25%. But these tariffs have now been reduced to zero, which indicate significant potential for future export to China. Furthermore, Namibia-wide aquatic products, grapes, blueberries are also undergoing export procedures to China. The government of China and Namibia expected to sign formal agreements in the near future. This will enable exports to China of those products. The tariff on these products, previously, the aquatic products, 7%, the grapes, 13%, and the blueberry, 20%, will also be reduced to zero. The export of those products to China holds enormous trade potential.
Staying with Namibia, Chairperson of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Urban and Rural Development, Clemencia Coetzee, says Parliament cannot effectively draft laws or exercise oversight without direct input from traditional authorities implementing and experiencing those laws on the ground daily. Addressing a stakeholder consultative meeting with traditional authorities from Kavango East and Kavango West in Rundu, Coetzee said the engagement seeks to strengthen communal land governance, improve customary land administration systems, and address challenges affecting equitable land access, particularly for women and vulnerable groups. This video is by Elliot Ipinge.
To facilitate consultation between the Parliamentary Committee and traditional authorities in order to enable honourable members to deepen their understandings of customary land governance and registration process, to introduce members with the roles, functions, governance structures of traditional authorities, to explore the interface between customary law and statutory land registration system, to identify challenges faced by the traditional authorities in administrating and registering customary land rights.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, for your kind remarks and very moving. Thank you. So, by the way, do I really need to translate or we are following? We are following. So, it's okay? Okay. Okay. So.
And the Namibian government has approved the establishment of a new Green Industries Council, replacing the former Green Hydrogen Council, whose term ended in February 2025. The announcement was made by government spokesperson Emma Theophilus during this week's cabinet briefing, where she outlined resolutions adopted during the 12th and 13th cabinet meetings held on 28 April and 6 May 2026 under the chairpersonship of President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. According to Cabinet, the new council will oversee Namibia's broader green industrialization agenda, focusing on policy coordination, institutional alignment, and investment priorities aimed at accelerating industrialization, economic diversification, and job creation. Cabinet further stated that the council will be chaired by the Director General of the National Planning Commission and will include representatives from key institutions, including the Ministries of Finance, Industries, Mines and Energy, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, Environment, Forestry and Tourism, International Relations and Trade, Urban and Rural Development, the Office of the Attorney General, and the Bank of Namibia. Here is Government Spokesperson and Minister of Information, Communication and Technology, Emma Theophilus.
Cabinet briefing, and on today's briefing, I bring the 12th and the 13th Cabinet meetings held on the 28th of April and the 6th of May 2026, and as chaired by Her Excellency the President, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. The first Cabinet decision is an update on the green industry sector in Namibia. Cabinet took note of the current status of the green industry sector in Namibia, with particular focus on development of the industry. Key policy, institutional and investment priorities required to enable the sector to achieve its strategic objectives of industrialization, economic diversification, and job creation. Further to this, Cabinet approved the establishment of the Green Industries Council, comprising of the following membership structure. First, the Director General of the National Planning Commission as its chairperson, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy, the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, the Minister of International Relations and Trade, the Minister of Urban and Rural Development, and of course the Attorney General and the Governor of the Bank of Namibia.
All right, that is the message. And those have been our stories on Africa. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the 12th of May as we have been taking you through the stories across Africa and, of course, the stories in Namibia. However, just a quick recap on how the show started. Africa Forward Summit opens with big promises and big questions. France-Kenya partnership sparks neo-colonialism debate. Tanzania blocks European Union rights delegation. Mauritius launches $1 million golden visa program. African Film Awards turn into fashion spectacle in Nigeria. And of course, in Namibia, we were looking at the announcement of the brand new Green Industries Council, as well as a lot of Namibian products getting some good entryway at good rates in China, amongst other stories. Thank you for joining us on the 12th of May, not just any day, the birthday of Namibia's founding father, Dr. Sam Shafishuna Nujoma. Suresh Kanaka.